Okay, that was like a 3.5. So let's do that again, right? Good morning. 7.5, 7-ish, 7.8. Okay. And what level I like to play at, Leslie? Okay, good. So we'll try this again. Good morning. All right, I'll leave you alone. That's a 9.5. Not everybody got coffee yet, I guess, right? Okay, so welcome to day 2 of Islandpreneur Live. It has been an incredible journey. I see that all of you have been connecting and speaking with each other and solving problems and doing all of that. I had one of the best compliments this morning in years. I'm not going to call the person out. He knows who he is. But he said to me this morning, I couldn't sleep. I said, what? How you mean you couldn't sleep? Now, I know why I couldn't sleep. I know why Carl and David and Christy and everybody else couldn't sleep, but I'm trying to figure out why he couldn't sleep. And he's like, my wife was like, but what happened to you? In proper English, what is wrong with you? Yes. And he's like, I just couldn't wait for the morning to come. I'm like, what? Why? For Islandpreneur. I was like, you couldn't sleep because you were that excited to be here? Like, listen, I couldn't get here fast enough. I needed to be here today. And so for all of you, you made the same commitment. So thank you so much for being here today. Today is going to blow your mind again. We have some amazing, 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 exclusive, never before seen stuff that's going to happen today, this morning, and we end at about 1 o'clock. So I know that yesterday was a little bit of confusion. I had some people showing up here at 4, and I'm like, party done. Yeah, it's a little bit over. So you're here on time, and we are going to dive right in. I have the distinct honor of welcoming to the stage someone who's a friend. I know him for more than 10 years. We know each other from when we lived in the Netherlands, at least. We happened to be neighbors growing up. He lived at the bottom of the hill. I lived at the top of the hill in Mary's Fancy. He has transitioned from entrepreneur. Well, actually, he's always an entrepreneur. But he's always been entrepreneurial. He has a portfolio of finance and undercover innovation because he likes to be known as the Minister of Finance and Innovation, and he is a dedicated partner to Islandpreneur. This would not be possible without his commitment and the commitment of his cabinet. So help me give a level 10 welcome. And he needs level 10 energy this morning. You know, not every morning all of us are at level 10. So remember we talked about energy transfer? So I need you to transfer your level 10 love over, right? We got this? Good. So can you please help me welcome none other than the Minister of Finance himself, Artwell Arian. Thank you.
If I need one of those wireless mics, I don't like to stand on the same spot. Okay. If you hear this sniffle, I had some bad news on the way here. Someone close to me passed away. So, and I heard it as I was walking in. So my mood was a little dampened by that. Innovation. We are known in the Ministry of Finance to be innovative, and this wasn't something that we just gave, a title we just gave ourselves. When I look back at when I was younger and have a tool, I grew up in a single parent household. So my dad wasn't around for a very long time, and I would always have to go by my classmates or friends to use their computers up until my second year in high school. And that's the first time that my dad he bought me a computer for school. And I was very happy. The first time I was into technology, the first time I was able to have my own piece of technology. And the computer went bad, and I went to my mom. I told her, "Hey, the computer is bad, and we need to get it fixed." She couldn't afford to fix the computer. So now the one piece of technology that I had, and the first piece of technology that I had that I thought was very innovative, was down. And I had to learn to fix it on my own. So I had a couple of friends who were older than me, and I had an older person actually that was into IT, and I would go by him every single day to learn on how to fix computers. I then went home. After a month or two, I was able to fix my own computer. After that, I decided, my mom gave me her credit card to buy the parts. I remember the websites, I think it was called Newegg and tomshardware.com. And she allowed me to use her credit card to buy computer parts. And then I was able to fix my own computer. And then I was into gaming. And I was like, well, if I could fix my own computer, I could build a supercomputer to play better games. So then I ended up buying more computer parts, and I ended up building a second computer that was better than all my friends owned. So I had the most advanced, most innovative computer from all my classmates, and all of them would come over by me to play games and so forth. So I had to innovate out of necessity. On top of that, I was able to that was the first time I became an entrepreneur also. What I started to do was I would buy computer parts, monitors, everything, build them myself and sell them. And of course, I didn't have any overhead costs or staff, so I was able to have better prices than everyone else. Eventually, one of my competitors ended up hiring me on weekends to work for him. So I had to innovate out of necessity. It wasn't just because I thought it was cool, I innovated out of necessity. And in the Ministry of Finance, I believe that's the same thing that we do. Yes, we have a vision of where we want to go, but we also understand that we also hear the complaints of the population. They also hear my personal complaints. And we also understand that where we want to go, we need to make everything more inclusive. We started, when I came to this ministry, I had a mandate within my cabinet on what we need to get done in 4 years and where we need to be every year. Most of those aspects were going more digital. We are the first within the Dutch Caribbean, the first government within the Dutch Caribbean to be able to accept fully online payments, thanks to our partner. And that's the first step, because with our great partner, CXP, we were able to develop a platform where we were first to be able to pay vehicle tax online. And after that, we were able to get some other ministries on board. So the code of conduct, registration form, and soon business license, and so forth. So because we innovated in one aspect of the ministry, we were able to help and support other ministries. On top of that, we decided that, again, we want to also be able to help entrepreneurs even more, help the unbanked even more. How do we do that? Make sure that they have opportunities to be able to easier get on board with financing. So on top of that, it also bothered me a little bit when I would travel to the Netherlands or the US. I remember I went to San Francisco for my first visit ever, and I went to a store and I paid in cash. I think this was 2016. And the lady told me, wow, I haven't seen this in a long time. In US, their own currency. And she had to go and she took about 15 minutes to go and get change from me for a $100 bill. She said, I haven't seen this in a long time. That was 2016. Coming back home, I decided we also have to get to that level also. And I hear the complaints also from the population. We can't accept PayPal online and so forth. We don't have a lot of technology. And that isn't because we don't want to have this technology. That's because of being a small island nation. We have to live up to more stringent measures than even the US. There are laws that are applied to us that don't apply to the US or other countries. So as a small country, we have FATCA, CRS, what's the other one? There's like 3 or 4 of them that we have to live up to for entities like PayPal to feel comfortable with investing on the island, because they don't want to hold a liability. So because of all of this, we decided that we have to create our own product then. Until we live up to those standards, we have to create our own product. And we are working on it. So we are working on the OECD laws that deal with tax. transparency, um, privacy, and so forth. We are working on it, but as you can see, most Caribbean islands deal with the same issues. So we had to innovate and create our own product. So today, and I'll have Mr. Maduro come up soon, and we started this process about maybe a year ago of discussing, no? 2020, well, the discussions in 2020, we've had many companies come to us with wallets and plans, especially during the crypto boom. Every month we had a new presentation on this is the best wallet, this is the best app, and this is new currency, and this is new crypto every single month. But we went with a trusted partner who during COVID and after COVID also helped us to launch, as I mentioned, our payment platform, and had with their software, we were able to get at least one of the banks on board and believing in us. So we went to our trusted partner to continue that working relationship and developing this new app that we call Send. And the idea behind Send is that a play of colloquial words: send me money, I will send you money, send me mines. So that's a colloquial play we have with words. It's a sort of a Cash App, a Venmo mashup. And today, I believe we have a live demonstration also, and allow all the guests here to be first in trialing, being first to try this app. So I'll take over Leslie's role, maybe, and just invite Maduro up and let him join us right now.
Thank you. My condolences. Um, Never been introduced by one that came before, but being introduced by the Minister of Finance, I think, is, Leslie, no pun intended, is a home run. Especially in this time and where you do have some bad news that came to you. It's part of the entrepreneurship that is in you. Yesterday, together with Carl MasterCard, when we discussed a few things, I noticed that the reason why we've been speaking for a few months, years, is because of your ability to strive to where you want to go, not as a politician, but from within you. I salute you. Thank you. Clicker doesn't work? No, it doesn't work. No, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Okay, is it going to work? Okay. Okay, so let me do a small introduction. Um, okay. Um, I have a challenge, and the challenge is that we're, what, 60 people in here? Yet it's unlimited outside. So I don't know who's watching me, us, and what we're going to say. So I'm going to try to keep it nice. Some people who know me personally say that's going to be really tough. Um, the person that I am, and a couple of years ago, and I need to give you my life story before, since we're at Islandpreneur. So first slide, please. Up to a few years ago, nope. Okay, delay. Okay. Is it a delay or is it somebody else doing it? Okay. So up to a few years ago, I felt like a failure. Tough. I needed to grind the system. As of 14, I worked as a waiter, a bartender. I remember that a banquet manager told me I must have at least 8 glasses on the tray full to get out and 8 empty ones to get back into the bar. However, I don't want to say this, but I am. My kids, my youngest one just finished his VWO, and I don't feel like a failure anymore. Who can say that our kids are better than them? And I can be the proudest dad of ever. So, next slide. Yay. But I'm a visionary. So, here comes the hype, and it's all from the heart. Please understand that the way that I work, think, act, and do is because passion. If I'm going to step on any toes, it's not bad intended. Okay? So I need to get ready with this. So what do I mean with a visionary, and what do you know as a visionary? It's difficult when I communicate with some people who don't know me, who don't know how to work with me, because I think 10 steps ahead. And sometimes it is also with my colleagues where I have a really big issue. Because as soon as something happens, I already am 10 steps ahead. And you need to understand it. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be well aware that even though you are the entrepreneur, if you're in charge of a company, you need to bring the rest with you. You need to train them. They need to become like you, hopefully, or at least close that void, that gap, that you can do more to make sure that the company can grow. So that we're going into the, this is, yeah. So I told you about the passion, and I think entrepreneurs only do it for the passion. They don't do it for the money. Well, some do, but I think that without passion, an islandpreneur cannot live, cannot thrive. That's my personal opinion. Sitting behind a desk or getting his or her feet wet, hands dirty, is a prerequisite. So, the ones who are here as an entrepreneur, yesterday we spoke about entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur ready or is already getting their feet wet and their hands dirty? Raise your hands. I expected more, but okay. So it is that you need to be front row and center. You know what you want to do. You get done what you want to do, and you bring the rest with you. However, it is a task that starts early in the morning, late at nights. Be ready to put in your hours. Let's talk, and now it's gone. So the last slide was less talk and more doing. So then comes the reliability, because you're a doer, kind of like the minister, and trust, especially now that I'm in my 7th industry. So I started in food and beverage. I did ICT, did web development, was a social marketing guy, was in telecom. Is somebody from Telem here? No? Okay. Well, I used to audit bills in New York of OC3 cables and pots coming in for companies to get refunds. Things we can't do in the Dutch Caribbean here. It's like take it, pay it, and done. But it's there. It made me look into numbers while I'm not the accountant. I heard yesterday you need to be good in your numbers, if not somebody else. I have somebody else doing that. So who knows about payments? It's about the qualifications that you have. No. A payment is anybody and everybody just buying something or accepting funds. That's a payment. What do you need to know about payments? Nothing. It's the buying and the selling. However, what's behind it, you need to be, in Dutch you say professor, doctorandus, etc., etc., etc. You need to have your skills, your diplomas and everything. But the one thing I always tell to people is you can always hire people. They can always make sure that certain things that you're not good at, they can do. So when you're physically busy in the financial sector, you can get a job because of your documentation, because of what you did before. However, an entrepreneur who did his first e-commerce website in 1998, let me repeat, 1998, where I had a website with 600 products. Every product needed 7 steps before I could post it on the website. Now you got Shopify, you got WordPress, you got everything, and it's easy peasy. But fin, tech, those two met each other. The financial part, the technology part. And a lot of people say, wow, banks are fintechs. Yes, they are, but they are financial institutions which fall under the supervision of a central bank. And, okay. So when we're talking about the central bank system, and she just walked in. Hi, Raquel. Raquel usually looks at me and she's like, careful. Local merchants with a local solution, with a local institution, and it's not just about paying taxes locally. The grand scheme of things is, and people do not understand it, your company needs to be set up in the same country as the acquiring solution, as the bank, as the financial institution. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's how it is. That's how the financial sector works around the world. Well, yeah, I want to have PayPal. Well, PayPal needs to understand that there's enough volume in St. Martin or any other islands to then say, it's worth it. Let me ask an extension of use license to also operate in that country. PayPal is not in several countries in Latin America. So don't feel like they're stepping on our toes, that we're the only ones bad. Curacao, Aruba, St. Martin, we're all in the same boat. But, however, and this is really, okay. We need to understand that fintech is too modern for the 60-plussers. And we need to make it easier. We need to make it understandable. If not, it's going to be another 30 years before we can expose everyone to the modern digital systems. So, who or what is the watchdog and the police? The central bank usually gets blamed for everything. It's not. The one task that they have, or the primary task they have, and it's in my eyes, and Raquel is here to tell me if I'm wrong or right, is the waarborgen van gelden van de gebruikers. The money that all of you as users have that want to pay, that is what the central bank needs to protect. Whatever comes around it, also, but that's where its primary goal. Am I right? Now, why am I saying all this? Because the perception is always really bad in the sector. We as users always think it's a central bank, it's a bank, it's this, it's that, but it's so many more who are at fault or who have a stake in this matter. It's all about proven volume, like I just said, like with PayPal, Stripe, everybody else. And it's not about the possibility of having it. Okay? So, PayPal, for instance, how do you think the funds are paid to PayPal? It's either through a card or through a bank wire. Via the local systems, local banks, the same is possible. Bank wire or cards. We've been doing it, at least I have been doing it since 98. And CXP has been doing it since live 2016. Are we talking about debit cards? Are we talking about PIN debit cards? Or are we talking about credit cards? Difference. Visa and MasterCard have a credit card, and up to a few years ago, they've started changing it into debit cards, which are directly charged from your bank account. An example, CIBC was the first one in the Caribbean that only was catering with a debit card. The rest of the banks are now changing because of a mandate by MasterCard to stop as of now, today, actually tomorrow, to phase out MasterCard, Maestro. So that means that physically the Maestro is not going to be here anymore in our hands as of October 2027. That's when the last one expires. Okay? And then the debit card takes over. Yeah, but it's got fees. No, it doesn't. A debit card. However, there are local banks, institutions who think they keep acting like it is a credit card with cross-border fees and everything. Cross-border fees is like in telecom, you got interstate, intrastate, and international rates. When I do a local call, when I do a cell phone call, and when I do a international call, they have different fees. In the card schemes, it's the same thing. So local merchants with a local card means it's supposed to be a local fee. Do we collaborate or not? We all collaborate. I see ITRO present. I see Telem, who we're going to work with. I see the Minister of Finance here. MasterCard, who we're working with. So we need to collaborate, because if not, we're all going to compete against each other. And on this small island, I think it's not worth it. If we're in the United States, if we're in Canada, Europe, Latin America, maybe. But we need to collaborate on a mass scale, put our hands together, put our heads together, and move forward. So one thing that hits us is always the cost of doing business, cost of operations. How do we cover that? As our entrepreneurs, islandpreneurs, we got a problem. We're on an island. Everything is being imported. So how can we make it cheaper? So we're going on to and I need to find a way that we can switch this faster. If I tell one of you to switch slides, can we move quicker? Okay, so no clicker. So I can't perceive, sorry. So I have many customers during the years who chose to start with CXPay, stopped because it was too expensive. Coming to that later, but then I always say, I'll welcome you back anytime. What does that mean? They find out the reality and they come back. Why? Customer service, the attention you give them, and as entrepreneurs, you cannot lose a single client. Please. So, this is a banker's statement. Your contribution locally reminds me a bit of Gene Roddenberry, who brought us the world of Star Trek in the 60s. Some may have thought he was out of his mind then, but 7 Star Trek series later, and us actually using real-life tablets and cell phones like he envisioned way back when, one can only refer to him as a visionary. So here is to boldly going where no one has gone before. That was mentioned to me a few years ago. Why am I saying this? Because actually true. You need to be a visionary. If not, you're just doing a job that everybody else is also doing. We believe that online business and payments should be safe, effortless, and accessible to every merchant, big or small. We offer a local solution through our local accessibility and hands-on support to our customers. That's right. So the ones who noticed this last year, we were overwhelmed by being called the pioneer. And Ife, even though I should not be surprised that this would have happened, but I thank you personally for pointing it out. The one thing that Ife has been doing all this time is support, tell everybody everything and anything to make sure that this island can move forward, and not only this island, but the cause Innovation. So let me come to a point where, or to a model what somebody told us a few weeks ago. And this is you need to think about it. It's very short. Innovation knows no history. You want me to repeat it? Innovation knows no history. This is from somebody who came with a payment system. Somebody else bought over, and he's completely out of it and not earning a single dime, while he came with a payment system. And when he told us that, I was like, sometimes when you say to somebody, respect. And it's a shame. We need to protect ourselves. Like yesterday you heard about BIP. I need to protect myself now too. So, next slide, please. CXPay has been offering primarily gateway services, which is the technical term between bank and website of a merchant, of a company. We can offer a solution where you can come in with debit or credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, local or international payment methods, and actually international payment methods, but then also local payment methods. It is tough to understand, but let me give you an easier way to explain this. When you have Dutch traveling around the world, they have a bank account in Holland. They use a payment system called Ideal. So you accepting their money, you're telling them, I need to have it with a card because that's the way I accept it. Well, they are used to paying in the payment method that they are used to. So why can't you accept payments from them through Ideal? Same thing with Baloto of Colombia, Elo of Brazil, Bank Contact of Belgium, WeChat Pay, Alipay. Around the world, there's over 100 types. And we offer this straight into the island. On your own bank account, it pays with disbursements. That means you choose once a week, you put a threshold, and you receive them. Which means everybody and anybody from around the world can keep paying in their own payment methods. We also offer cashless solutions. Now, it's going to be tough to explain this. And I need to, and I did not. Who knows when you go to the hotel, you got a card and you open up your door? That same technology we use to organize and to assist and have money passed through in the event. So you have a bracelet, you got an RFID card, the money is topped up onto that card, and you go about your business buying and buying all the foods and products during the festival without you needing cash or taking out your card. This system can also go 100% offline. So a hint, I got 2 minutes to share. This system can help you when there's no internet, meaning no telecommunications. I remember 2017, there were a few days where everybody was completely down and everybody wanted cash. That needed to be done in an improvised way. Well, this, one flight in, all the cards are there, programmed, and it can work 100% offline. But this is not my payment method pitch, but it's about the cashless events that we can hold. We have ticket solutions as well. Who bought a tickets through the website to come to Islandpreneur? Was it easy? Did you use your card? Did you see so many payment methods? Okay. It can also be used for loyalty programs. Next one. Crowdfunding. Donations-based crowdfunding. Why go to GoFundMe? Or you could come to us. We'll prepare your campaign. We'll set it up. Your threshold, you want to pitch $5,000. You want it at $10 per as a minimum. We program it in. After the campaign is done, we provide you the funds. Next one. One thing I didn't mention was it's in our custodian account. CXPay has its own custodian account in dollars and in guilders. There's other competitors trying to sell the custodian account as a product. It's not. It's how we keep the monies of our clients and merchants safe if funds come in through those methods for the tickets, for the fund me, and other ways. So now we're going to go to a white labeled solution that we can provide others for a wallet. It's a business to business, it's business to consumer, peer to peer, etc. We'll get into that later. Next slide. So now we're going to go into hardware. We have technology with other partners in the region where we can provide banks a solution. So they don't need to go directly, but we can provide them the technology and the machines, being the most modern ones. Tap on phone, tap on glass, etc. Next slide. Some of our partners that we have, of course, we do all four card types, actually five. We have the CyberSource technology, which is the signature product, also with Decision Manager, which is driven by AI as a gateway solution in most of the Caribbean right now. And MasterCard, I'll be telling you about in a bit as well. Next slide. Some of the banks that we work with, these are the ones in the region which we at least have, I think, 10 or more merchants per. We recently partnered up with RBC after 5 years, 6 years. So it's fairly new. Why do I say partner? The bank is doing the acquiring. They do the link between Visa, MasterCard, and you, the local solution. We do the gateway, being the technical solution. It's three that play a game. And the game is not tango. The game is called serious business, being money. They rely on us. We need to provide them PCI compliance, being that the card details are prepared safely, are stored safely, are handled safely. And we're making sure that all parties do their job. A bank, are they entrepreneurs? No. A bank, are they technical? No. Merchants, are they a banker? No. Merchants, are they a gateway? No. So it's also always three that play this game together. Next slide. So these are some of the other payment options that we can provide. We provide in some countries, we provide Apple Pay and Samsung Pay. Some who are in Jamaica know most probably that by the end of this year, Apple Pay and Samsung, Apple Pay definitely is going to start up. Beginning of next year, hopefully Trinidad. But then you know that Samsung Pay is going to go direct immediately after that as well. Why am I saying this? Because Trinidad and Jamaica are the biggest ones for payments in the Caribbean. People look at them. So that means one thing. Once those two start, it'll trickle down and become ours as well. So everybody wants to accept Apple Pay, and that's going to be worked on already. Just for you to know, if you have a client who has Apple Pay, so a card stashed on Apple Pay with the technology and wants to pay NFC, I know at least of one bank in the Dutch Caribbean who does have acceptance for Apple Pay and Samsung Pay on their swipe machines. Different types of websites that we can provide. There's some which are really popular. Shopify, Wix, WooCommerce. And when you go to, let's say, Lightspeed, those are POS of restaurants. Sabre and Oracle and Amadeus are big booking engines. And I don't know, some of you might know those names from earlier before. Those are heavy-duty companies that we're also integrated with the software that use their platform. Next. So this is, I'm going to say it roughly, this is looking under my skirt. And since the first transactions took place on the 3rd of January 2016, we had a 3-digit compound growth every single year. We now have 587 merchants live of the original 648. Some just sign off. They find it too expensive in their mind. Some don't use it like it's supposed to. But we've done 5 million transactions, over $268 million that we've processed for our merchants. And we have about 45 processors attached to our system, and a possibility of connecting 2,000 acquirers or more. Now, when we're talking about acquirers, banks, financial institutions, it's all the same thing. So I'm going to talk about a moment of why the gateway. Empowering merchants in the St. Martin, or like we call it, Caribbean and Latam area. You need to receive funds in your name. That's the rule. In your name, to settle directly into your bank accounts, while also following the cross-border payment rules. No middleman to handle your money, with which most of the time does not have a license as a payment facilitator. Let your clients decide how they can or should pay. So why did I say that last sentence? But before I go on, let me go to the first one. So your money, not somebody else's, your money is to come straight between you and the processor or the bank, period. Nobody in between. And if they are, they need to be licensed as a payment facilitator. Even CXPay after 7 years is not even a payment facilitator yet. It is because you need a sponsor bank that you can offer these services in the name of the merchant, and the code is behind it. So an example, if I'm going to go to company A and I buy something, it should say on the statements, on the bill statement, it should say company A. If it says company B, sorry, illegal. But if it says CX dot company A, you got a payment facilitator in the middle, which is good, which is okay. They act faster. They have digital, so the fintech has more space in there. The KYC, the compliance, and all those checks and balances are done. But the last one says, let your clients decide how they should be paying you. Remember when I said there's a Dutch person or a Chinese person that wants to pay you, and you need to make sure that they can pay you? So I have cards, if they're going to pay you in a different type of payment system, which they're used to. Don't decide for them. So most of you who decided to become an entrepreneur and take cash, do you have that swipe machine as well because they only have a card? Don't say how they need to pay you. Accommodate your clients to accept money. Next, paid deliverables. Be paid before you fulfill. It's not a quick rich cream, but waking up in the morning and finding out how many orders came in, fulfill them, isn't that great? While you're already being paid? Next. Eva. Next. You're pressing, but it's not going? Oh boy. Okay. So, planned sales and recurring. So that means you can plan yourself accordingly. You get it paid. And if you have somebody in a monthly service, you get paid monthly. You don't need to go and collect again and get the monies in. Completing the customer journey. Who's here in marketing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so how many times do you do a campaign for your clients, but it gets up to the point of payment and you don't have the payments? Now you're closing that customer journey. Now they got paid. So if you go and rent a car, or you order online to rent a car and you've paid them, compared to or reserve a car online and not pay them. So does that rental company get your money, or maybe cancel or go to a better deal? Once you get paid, you're done. You fulfill, you're okay, you're in. Closing the customer journey is more important than ever now. Next. You increase your revenue. because you know what you're getting in. You know how people get paid. The marketing helps you from what funnel it comes in. Invest more time and effort into it. Ask ChatGPT. Next slide. Wake up and, like I mentioned, start reconciliating. Next. Having a site or have sent out invoices which can be paid automatically, pave a way where you can wake up in the morning and start planning the day with reconciling and fulfilling your services and products. It is magical. Trust me, it's magic. Next. Okay, so we got an inquiry a couple of days ago. And this was the inquiry. What are the fees for a St. Martin merchant to use CXPay? How long does it take to get started after signing up? Only registered companies at Chamber of Commerce can use CXPay. And this is after IFE announced CXPay on the radio, and we got this in. So this is an opportunity that we get on a daily basis. Back, please. No, wait, yeah, sorry. Go on to that one, yes, sorry. I split it up instead of telling the story, correct. So, first thing we need to know, do you have a business or is it a person? If so, which bank? What website platform do you have? Because we need to be compatible with each other. Why discuss, talk, do all kinds of time with each other while we might not be compatible? Next. The pricing, no, back. Yeah. Only when above questions have been answered, we can provide the accurate pricing. And it also depends on the payment method requested. So by the way, if you're in St. Martin and you would like to receive payments from the United States, why are you going to ask the other payment methods? Why do I need to spend time explaining to you while you only know your market is the US, good of A? So I have a personal challenge on a daily basis, and that is that they, the clients, the customer, and you all as entrepreneurs need to come to us for a payment solution. We have a problem because you're going to ask me, why are we asking so many questions? But it has to do with basically correct information. So how long does it take? Next one. The pricing and the terms of the bank and financial institution. So every bank has a different price. How can I talk for the bank? You're low risk, you're high risk, you got high volume, you got low volume. I can't talk for the bank. And when I say I mean CXPay. And how long does it take? It's not in our hands to do the due diligence. That is the bank. I know from when we start, when we receive the merchant ID from the bank, we provide a service to activation within 2 weeks, sometimes even a week. Next. Okay. There's one bank specifically in the whole Caribbean asking me this per merchant every single time. So I said, let me draw it out for you. You have a website, you need a gateway, you need to connect to the processor, and the bank or financial institution is connected to the processor. See it as a spin web, a web of spins. In the middle, you got Visa, MasterCard. And then trickle to the middle, you got the processors. And all the way in the end, the biggest part are the banks and financial institutions connected to the processors. So there's always a lot more than what you think that's happening behind the scene, the background. Next slide, please. This is one of the examples that we have for you for a hosted payment page if you don't have technology. If you don't have Wix, you don't have Shopify, you don't have WordPress, we can provide you a hosted payment page, which is basically a link you send to somebody and you're done. Excuse me, they click on it and they pay you. Yes. Next. This is where we have at least one or more merchants. We're in 28 islands or countries right now, and we're preparing to enter into Puerto Rico, Santo Domingo, actually also, and Colombia. Why am I saying that we are preparing? As an entrepreneur, you want to go in and you don't want to fail. In Colombia, there's 39 other systems like CXPay. So it's kind of scary going up against so many more. So our comfort zone is right now in these countries and islands. Next. The type of businesses that we have a gateway solution for. And when you see gambling on the bottom, it is because we started in 2014 for gambling, but we found out that local banks did not support it. So we brought them to Europe. So we do have, but have nothing to do. We are a gateway technical solution only in Europe. Next. Let's go to the event solution, which I told you about. So RFID technology, where we have the wristbands, we have cards, you can tap, you can get reports after if it's live, every 90 seconds you get a report. You can even have stock. So if a bar sells 300 beers, it's got 400, the system can show you. Only if it's with internet connection. And if it's not, you can run with a connection with a hotspot, and you can provide a solution then as well to have all the data go up and look at your reports. Then we come to the ticket solution. We have like an Eventbrite that we can provide you to buy tickets online with a lot of payment methods. And it's easy. Within 1 or 2 business days, we'll have it set up for you. We're going up to a solution that you can make your own events and have your own tickets. Next slide, please. See, this is how Islandpreneur got their tickets done, and if you can tell your story afterwards, how come we helped her out and how fast we helped you out. And next screen. So, see the payment methods that we offered? Now, one of them, if you click on it, there's more payment systems, just for you to know. So you said, yeah, but more than 20. Well, there's, if I'm not mistaken, like 10. But 2 of them, when you click on it, it opens up many more payment systems. Next. So when you're checking in, you have a ticket with a QR code. Next. And it's then scanned. So the physical action taken by the one at the door is a different action than what the organizer has. Because the organizer, next slide, clicks on that part, I had to gray it out a bit, and sees all the participants coming to the event. Next screen. Then click on one of them, and you see all the data. Next, you check them in. Next. So, crowdfunding, that means a donations-based crowdfunding solution, and it's very easy to tell you GoFundMe, but locally. Next. Tap on glass, where the banks can provide the solution and we sell them this solution. Next. And then we are part of the Curacao FinTech Association, the same central bank that is present here, but then in Curacao, we tell everybody, so the purpose of us is to represent the interests of the FinTech companies, organizations on the island, be the official sparring partner for the government, institutions, and stakeholders. And the achievements that we've done, assisted with the EMI license, virtual asset regulations, basic payment accounts, and the endorsement of the CBCS, to become the official representative organization for the FinTech market. So that means I know about the 4 licenses that are, well, I heard good news that they're not at WAZ in St. Martin. In Curacao, they are supposed to still, but they're 1 step closer to going to Parliament to be voted on. And let me give you a spiel. And mind you, ICTRO is one of our partners, also as one of the founding members in CFA. One of the easiest things I can tell you is, you know Bonaire, that other island in the Dutch Caribbean? It's part of Holland, isn't it? But it's not treated as Holland. They want to receive funds with Ideal. I can help them. Yet, Bonaire is also seen like St. Martin as witwassen, AML, terrorisme, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's on all sites of world organizations, DNB in Holland. I mean, so strangely enough, they're not treating it that way. And they being our partner who officially can resell the service outside of Europe, because you need to be licensed for that. Being an EMI gives CXPay the chance to decide who can and who cannot receive this option. Not a partner in Europe who decides for us. That important this license is. The basic payments option, same thing. The unbanked need to have some sort of payment to be or bank account to do stuff. Also a law which needs to pass. Did I go wrong? Did I correctly? Yeah. So, a payment solution for all. What do we do? With a focus of inclusiveness and over years in the e-payments world, CXP will be offering all ranks in the community a payment option that will revolutionize the payment world. May it be for the tech savvy or not, it will include all kinds of payment services and options to be able to fit into every household and community. We start in St. Martin, but it's planned for the Caribbean. Next slide. CXPayMe. It's an electronic e-payment solution and will become a payment method. Working on standing orders and bill payments, working on launching app with 3 types of accounts, a basic payment account, a regular account, and an enhanced account. NFC-enabled payments, prepaid cards, which I can mention with MasterCard present, that with one of their partners, we are in the Caribbean going to start providing, or like they said, issuing cards where we have a BIN sponsor and that we can also attach cards to this program. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can get everything organized and start offering a card to this app as well. So I need to go slow because now the hype needs to start. In cooperation and supported by, Ife, the Ministry of Finance, we have SEN. It's an app, but there's more. Next. It's got P2P, B2B. It's going to have, because Carl's here for government, he's a government department of MasterCard. Did I say it correctly? Kind of? Okay. C2B, B2C, group payments, scheduled payments, possibility of for microfinancing and payroll, use of app or website with same login. And this is just the first screen where you choose to sign up for personal or for business or both. Next screen. Okay, when live, we will have a KYC, know your client, AML, anti-money laundering, in the background running. So right now, today, we are going, don't move that slide. I need to hype it up. We will be able to check your backgrounds, see if you're, PEP, or even something worse, and stop or close the account. This is one of the requirements in the financial industry that you need to adhere by. If we keep it out, guess what? No app. We'll always stay in demo mode, and I wouldn't want that. Okay, so you will sign up very easily today. No KYC will be done. But when we go live, everybody needs to put in their valid ID, a video where it's going to be compared to what actually is on the ID. And then later down the road, there's more exigencies, there's more requirements. One of them will be, if you would like to transfer more funds, you then go from a basic payment account to a regular account. The requirement will be add a verification, a secondary ID, etc., etc. Am I still going correctly? So I'm trying to be friends and stay friends with the banking sector. I'm not going to disrupt this scenario. We need everybody, okay? API availability for e-commerce, of course. We're an e-commerce company, so we would require this. All our merchants immediately would have an instant way of receiving those funds from the wallet as well. Point of sale. So if you have a point of sale which means a casa or anything which has to do with, it's 650. And then the swipe machine, no. Now it comes up with a QR code. You can scan it, you pay it. Part of the network token ID of Visa and MasterCard. Okay, so this is difficult to understand, but let me explain it in an easy way. Amazon, everybody knows that name. I'm not working for them. When you go to Amazon, you leave your card behind. So the next time you pay, you don't need to, you can only say which card. You don't need to enter the card information again. It's called tokenization. Okay? But because of what we do in the background, the gateway system, we now don't go anymore to a token ID for each merchant. We're going into the pool of the world, being that this token ID can be used with all those more tokens and cards, which is over 60 billion tokens and cards. So once a card is lost, 2 seconds or 1 second later, you got a new token. So the card physically doesn't need to be used anymore, but the token. Now, I'm not trying to go technical, so I'm going to stop talking. Next. Scheduled payments. Tell me one thing, but when I see this, I'm like, I want to plan my life, and this is now it. And you'll see the example, but scheduled payment is something that when you go out and you say, I need to transfer transfer money for my son to have for the next month, and I put it on the 30th, and it's physically taking it away from my availability, and it's stashing it separately. Next. Wallet-to-wallet transfers, which is very easy. Everybody knows that. So I'm sending to you, I'm sending to a business, I'm paying a bill, whatever. Next one. Group payments. Payroll. An organization. You can do a batch payment in that kind of a sense in one time here. And maybe this one would be one you would like to do through the website. Same login, same credentials, website. Next. Request. So I can ask somebody to pay me. Next. Okay, here goes. One moment, don't go. Who here is, no, wait. Who here feels young? Feels young. Okay. There is one thing I think personally that we're revolutionary on it. And you can tell me afterwards, David, you're lying. Others do it as well. But something really beautiful is going to happen here. Next slide. Dark mode. Next. We're seeking beta testers. Play with and experience the app and website as a merchant and as a user. We only request you to provide valuable feedback for your markets and mail this to, don't forget it, don't send it to CXPay, send it to Seng at stmartingov.org. Because so far, you're the only ones, well, we're live, but you're the only ones being exposed to this. Next. So, we have, it says on the bottom also, login OTP. So here it comes. In a bit, we're going to have everybody download the apps. If you don't have a Curacao number, you want to be part of the experience, put in a fake number of one of the countries and use OTP. But a warning, that OTP is going to be there for 3 seconds, 2 seconds to 3 seconds. You're not going to see that code, you're done. You need to start the process all over again. So be vigilant, not multitask like we all do with our cell phones, switch to another screen while something else is happening. Pay attention. Next screen. This is a website. So when you're on the website, this is my dashboard. Send money, request money, my activities, wallet, contacts, the profile I would like to enhance, the settings I would like to change, and even your expenditure. And on the right, and I would like to show you, most probably I need to log in again. Yeah. This is no promotion for the bank that I use primarily, but it does tell you why CXPay can have a better product. Now, do you see on the right-hand side, you see cards? Okay. I have a few cards. I have of MCB and I have of Orco. And I have the physical background of the cards. So we thought about the more experienced people, the more seasonal, the age group. If they see a card, the design of a card, they know which card, they make less mistakes. That kind of a design we thought about that you could put your image as well. Next slide. This is, and take a picture, not scan it and go on the website. Take a picture. But this is going to be the login for the website. Next. How's my time going, Ife? Oh, shit. Okay. Hey, you went too quickly there. Go back. Okay. So we have yesterday all kinds of havoc that everybody's an Android person. So Android, you're first. Please download. Wait. Then for the ones who are like me, we love easy and styling. Let's go for the iOS. Okay, so Eva just did like this with me. I'm over time. But the idea is, and mind you, Ife, I have somebody from MasterCard who would like to, who has an Android who wasn't quick enough to. Can we go back to the Android? You got the Android one here. Okay? Okay. Next. You got the iOS one. Okay? So, while you have the last screen here, and trust me when I say it, I'm not going to tell you have fun. Sign up, go to the card, so add with cards, put in and write down this information. What? Wait, let's do Android first. Let's do Android first.
Hello? There we go. David? David?
That's what I'm going.
Question from the audience?
Wait.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
Christian just answered the question most probably somebody has already. Android, are you done before I go on? Let's go to iOS before you ask me the question. If you have iOS, you've downloaded it. Before you install it, people, one moment. People, hello. They're so excited they keep on. Okay, for the iOS ones, please note, we don't have them yet on Play Store nor App Store. So for iOS, you after installing it, you need to go to Settings, VPS and Device Settings, and press on Communication Craft, who is the producer of this, our partners, and say Trust. Once you're done with that, you can sign up. I had a question over there. Ife. And I have a few more things to say, but okay. No.
I just did that. Yeah, now I'm on.
Yeah,
Okay. So the question was, is the app live?
it is.
Okay.
But live in demo mode.
Okay. So the question is, when is it going to be live?
Depends on the feedback.
Okay. There you go.
I had another question here. Wait a moment, Kurt. This gentleman here. Yeah. QR. You need it again? Can you put the website? Okay, can you put it back to the website's QR code? The first QR code. One more? Yes. Back, yeah. Kurt? I would hope not longer than 1 to 2 months. We would like to go live. So, if you want entrepreneurs and innovation to succeed, you need to get the locals to embrace this and be able to succeed. And as you see here, it is endorsed by the local governments. So let me repeat. Mass adoption and success of this app is up to you. Your government came with a tool. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
In the settings for iOS, in settings, in VPN device management, you click on settings, then general. There it is. Click on the one with the gray logo and then trust. Sir. No. This money, all your funds, once it's live, goes into our escrow account, which is with a local bank. We have connections to the local bank. Well, when we go live, you will receive all the data within the app.
So the app is giving you bank detail information to receive payments.
It's not like in Europe yet, which is integrated.
Yeah.
But we are moving into that
Can we get
direction.
that footage?
With Ictual, for instance, they got Bank
get that
Integrator,
footage?
which is most of the telco companies and other utility companies have that you do bill payments, and when you put in the proper code and the amount, it gets paid. With Bank Integrator, it then comes into our app without a problem.
Okay. So now you will be able to receive money from overseas?
You can, because in principle, an overseas person can top up with cards. Those go with the necessary required securities, and they transfer it into your account, and you can cash out.
So by credit card, like by card processing, basically.
Excuse me?
It will be card processing, not wire transfer.
Once you have it in your wallet, you can do anything you want with it. If a cash out to a bank is your choice, then yes. If the card is attached to it and cash out through the or use the card, yes.
So also the app, you will be able to issue a card to make payment.
Mhm.
So
That is our plan.
yeah, your plan is to attach a MasterCard, for example.
It is going to be a MasterCard.
So once you have the app, you can order the MasterCard and then make payments.
Correct.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Ma'am.
But just a question. So it's a little bit like, a few neobanks around the world, right? What's the name? Let me check. Sorry. So Revolut, for example. Revolut?
No, it's going to be no. Our idea is not yet to expand so quickly.
Okay.
We're going to provide it to the island of Saint Martin.
Yeah.
Solution for the island of Saint Martin, then trickle out to the other islands, then to the Caribbean.
But the concept is similar.
Correct. But Revolut has a banking license. We don't.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. So you're working with your partners, banking partners to.
That's why banks, central bank, everybody is our partner
All right.
and our trusted friend.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, I hear a lot of rumbling. Are you excited? Where were we? Did you have a question? Oh, wait, hold on.
When you sign in with OTP and send the code, I'm getting mobile number does not register.
Where are you? What island are you? Are you
St.
from St.
Martin.
Martin?
Yes.
Okay, you drop down to 721.
Yes.
You put in a number
Yes.
and you put in a password, or you did OTP.
Oh. I did OTP.
But you signed up with OTP?
No, I just did OTP.
Okay, because the OTP might have landed in your email as well, depending if you put the email there.
Okay, I'm gonna try again.
If not, we'll handle it together separately.
Okay, so let's do this because some people on Android are having challenges. Some people on iPhone are having challenges. And we were supposed to do an Island Connect, but I think connecting to send is a good idea, right? Okay, do you mind if we take some time to do a proper walkthrough for Android, make sure that we have everyone on there, and then iPhone, and then we'll transition very quickly over to Jeff. Jeff, do you mind if we just take a few minutes for this?
What I think we should do is park this,
Okay,
and then afterwards,
okay. Yeah. Okay. So-
I would like him to do, and then we can do whatever's left.
So let's go with the first plan. We'll get Android on because I'm an Android person. I'm sorry, guys. And then after that, we'll just do a quick walkthrough for iPhone. We'll transition over to Jeff. We still have some buffer time, so we'll be okay. Is that all right with the room? Yeah? That sound like 2 energy or 1 energy. Is that all right? Yeah. Awesome. So let's walk through this really quickly, David. For those that have Android, now is the time to scan. If you're having problems scanning, then we will figure that out.
To download it.
Not connected to iPhone or Android. If you are a business, can you sign up with 2 persons separately with like 1 business, 2 phone numbers? Okay, great, thanks.
And if not, use the landline and use OTP.
Sorry, no. Okay, so we're still having some challenges. For those of you that aren't, I'm giving you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
And then now for iOS devices.
And I forgot to create a slide how you can easily top up, but I'll do that later after presentation.
Is it okay for David to come back a little bit later? I'll forfeit my session.
Don't worry.
Okay. Okay, we'll have...
While you're doing the iOS, I thank you for your patience.
Yes.
I thank you for your inspiration. Without you, Ife, this could have not happened.
Thank you.
Minister, Mashadanki.
Please give David Levy Maduro of CXP, Minister Artwell Arion, and of course, MasterCard is going to be issuing the cards before the year out. And Carl Gordon from MasterCard is here. I'm going to hand back over the mic to your extraordinaire MC, and we're going to transition. I promise we will be back on this topic. But didn't I tell you